I think I'm ready. So my name is Jason Fuyana. I'm originally from Zimbabwe. The full name is Nkosi Fuyana, is the documented name. So right around the time when I was born, he came to the hospital. My grandpa was like, hey, if you're not gonna be a man in this child's life, if you're not gonna raise him yourself, then you can't have him. He's staying with us. And so pretty much he left around 2 years old. The only distinct memory I have of him is he came to my grandparents' house and he gave me 2 bananas, and that was it. That was the last time I ever saw him again. But yeah, I mean, moved to the US. First thing I ever had in America was McDonald's, which made me the man I am today. But lived with my mom and, you know, watched her go through the immigrant struggles. And up until this point, just never thought about having a father or having that figure inside the house. And so, I mean, my mom loves me, you know. Got disciplined, of course, but there were always missing areas in my life. You know, I dealt with anger issues at the age of 13, you know, and punching holes in the walls and screaming and crazy stuff like, obviously that's not me anymore, but like that I used to act like that and live like that. And so it wasn't until the age of 18 when me and a group of my friends, we all got saved. And the first thing I had to deal with before even coming to the Lord was I had to forgive my dad of everything he'd ever done, you know, like never being in my life, the abuse towards my mom when they were dating. Like, even though my father was never in my life, I still respect him, I still love him, still honor him, you know, like I wasn't aborted, you know what I mean? Hey, you know, I could have been abandoned, you know, but like, hey, at least he came to the hospital, at least he wanted, in some sense, him to have, you know what I mean, whether it was in pride or whatever, I still love him, still respect him, forgave him, you know, everything's good. But I still didn't have a structure really, or like a basis of this is what a man is, you know. What does a man in God look like, you know? How does he treat women? How does he treat his parents? How does he treat other people? How does he work, you know? I lacked a lot of discipline, I lacked self-control, I lacked authority in my life. Male leadership was a big lack in my life, you know. It's just me and my mom, and she did the best she could, but God made her to be a mom and not to be a man, you know. And so there was a lot lacking there. So the Lord basically told me, hey, you got to submit to other men. I want you submitting to the men in my body. And my whole experience living in this house with these group of guys was the biggest part that really impacted me, was submitting to another man. You know, because I always had issues with submitting to men. And I wasn't a bad kid, you know. I was always a good kid, tried to do good grades, C+ average type kid, come on now. And tried, you know. I remember one time instant, you know, my uncle tried to correct me in my mom's place, and, you know, I just talked back to him, you know, lashed out. Like, I could not receive male leadership for some reason, you know. It was always weird. And so living in the guy's house, having to say, hey, Jason, it's your turn to do dishes this week. Yep, let's do them, you know. My spiritual father going to his house and seeing him flirt with his wife after 20+ years of marriage, you know. To see that was like, wow, people can have happy marriages, you know, and having that desire in my heart to want to get married, you know, and eventually myself getting married and also being discipled, and eventually having my own son, you know. I am the way I am because of other men in my community, other men that have come into my life and said, hey, you know, these are my failures, these are my mistakes, these are the things I do wrong, you know, and having to learn from their mistakes has made me the man I am. And I can't control what he did with his life, you know, and his decisions towards my mom or towards me as a son, but I know that I, for myself, can change that course, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people will be like, hey, you know, my parents were divorced, so I can't help but be this way to my son, or be this way to my wife, or I gotta get a divorce. No, like, I can change the course of how the family's gone, you know. And that's my backstory.